Warning. The following video contains spoilers for the inner workings and behind-the-scenes processes of the Project 863 series. If you do not wish to be spoiled on future or past videos, nor have the spell of the series broken, you have been warned. Everybody, thank you for coming to the Behind 863 podcast.
Woo!
The wide cam is not on. Please keep them busy with what's been going on in the last week. Talk about, we have a new hire.
Oh,
That's new. We have a new addition. And then talk about the story, shooting stuff.
Sounds good. Hey, guys. So Tanner's going to fix this wide camera. So last week we actually didn't film because Matthias was not feeling well, had a little tummy ache. So we just wanted to play it safe, and so he didn't want to come in and overwhelm himself, so we didn't film. So this week we're actually filming 2 videos. Which is exciting.
Feels like it's been a while since we've shot anything.
It
when the
does.
video went up yesterday and there wasn't a next time, I was like, oh yeah, I don't even know what's going on.
Because we didn't film anything last
Yeah.
week. So yeah, the video that just released was a big one. It was the interviewing the government experiment survivor, where we talked to Woods' longtime family friend who was experimented on by Syntech. Got some information. So now it's kind of like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with that information? We'll see.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of information that we got.
I think you were in an interesting position because you couldn't really hear. I mean, obviously I know that you've watched the video, but it was funny to like watch you try to react to the conversation that was happening because Matt and Woods could hear each other and talk to each other, and then Chanel, Bailey, and I were just like in the room like quote unquote reacting, but we like couldn't hear what was really being said. So it was kind of like, what? Oh no, wow, like because that's all
Very
we could really
vague
do.
reactions.
But yeah, there's some interesting information, but we'll see where it leads us. And Tanner, like you said, we have a new hire. So we just recently hired a new production assistant. Her name is Lauren. And so far she's lovely and we're excited to have her on the team. She's a lot of really cool experience. Has worked with like Disney and cool stuff like that, and excited to have her.
Yay.
And she's Bailey's friend. We didn't know that.
Best friend.
But
She is one of my best friends.
yeah, and it was so cool because like Bailey did such a good job at like being so like neutral and like just whatever in like the interview process.
She did get the job.
Well, no, but she was my like heavy
No, I'm
pick.
kidding.
Like I know she got the job, but like when we narrowed it down to like a couple of candidates, then Lauren, Catherine, and Bailey like brought me into the interview process because this person was going to be my direct report. So it's like we obviously want your feedback, and Lauren was like my like top pick from that process, and I had no clue during that Bailey even knew her. Like it was so like
Cool.
She actually reminds me a lot of like Bailey's first days as well, so that's probably a good sign as well. Yeah, she's like quiet, takes care of her business, asks questions.
She's very much in the observing realm.
Yeah.
We've had other types of hires for sure. Where like I remember like we had like this first hiring group. I think Woods was a part of it. I think you and CJ were a part of the same like hiring group, weren't you? Or were you before CJ?
Woods was before CJ, right?
No, it was after CJ.
Oh yeah, because CJ joined first as a PA.
As a PA, it was his hiring group. We had like we were like almost like trialing like 5 or 6 people for like, and we were doing like one day of BU. And I just remember CJ was like the only one like that was going around and like actually working. Like the other 5 were just like either on their phones doing nothing. Some people were like going up and like talking like with Joey or Brian, just like smack. And everyone's like, so then it was like Matt and like Kevin were like picking up darts and stuff. We had like 5 like part-time temporary employees and doing nothing,
Yeah.
And so it's like weird how you get like different dynamics of like, I mean, that's how hiring was back then, which obviously like brand new, everyone's brand new to like the business kind of vibe of it. But now like, with Bailey, with Lauren, with all like, you can just tell that it's like heads down, doing the work, asking questions, great, like super nice people,
Yeah.
It's cool to have like a different dynamic, I would
How
say.
do you get hired to something like a job and then just not do it? Like I just don't get that.
They were young. They were like young college kids. That's the thing is you get like a lot of you get a lot of
never have a job before.
that's the balance, you know, when you're hiring like younger college kids, they're just like, they don't care. I've done interviews where some dudes literally, like, we literally did an interview. It was like me, Paul, and it was Nicole back then. And we did an interview, and I was like, I cannot believe that I just had this interview. Like, this kid, like, rolled up, like, Bass Pro had, like, hat on backwards vibe kind of kid, just like, dude, what's going on? I was like,
Oh,
Yeah.
just
Like,
on
bro,
the
I'm hiring.
street.
it has that vibe of like, bro. And so we're just like, dude, this dude coming for like the job, and he just like kind of acted like he had it. He's like, you'd be lucky kind of to have me. Like, the
I remember
no
hearing about
weaknesses
this
kinda
one.
kid.
I remember
I
hearing
was
about
like,
this one.
bro, that was so weird. We were all like, yeah, we couldn't wait for him to kind of like leave the room because it was
God.
like weird. But
So
you
we have to talk about this.
but young companies, I think you kind of just like attract the younger vibe,
True,
younger kids.
yeah.
The kid's like, yeah, I know about YouTube. You know, it's like, well, whatever that means, you know, like. Back then, you're just like, look, it was just so weird compared to
Yeah.
now where it's like, now we have like a professional environment.
Well,
which
and,
is
and
cool.
exactly,
Yeah.
like I think we're all in the excited place of adding more people to the team too.
Yeah.
So there's something that's very very like positive and has a good energy about like bringing a new person in. I mean, I even felt that way like when we hired Bailey and Lauren with an O. So this is a thing. We have 2 Laurens now.
We sure do.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah, when we brought in Bailey and Lauren, it felt really nice. I mean, at least for maybe you guys can add to this too, but like it felt like a new energy. Like it's really good to like bring new people in, and hiring Lauren as a PA too has just felt really good, and she
Yeah.
feels like a really good fit, and I'm excited for her to get more involved in the story too, because
Me too.
she's very passionate about storytelling, and it's been fun to fill her in on what's happening. And as she's been getting caught up on some videos, like we've had private asides where she's been like, oh my gosh, like I heard that you guys are doing this idea for like this like thing in the midpoint and yada yada yada, like that's so cool. And she's definitely getting rooted in it still, but it's very exciting.
How
Yeah.
did you guys meet?
She's actually engaged to one of my other really good friends, and so she went to Cal Arts out here, and I think they met in high school actually in Texas, but I went to film school with her fiance. Yeah, so lots of creative energy in that relationship.
Fun.
But yeah, I'm gonna be in her wedding, and yeah,
Lucky you,
crazy.
bridesmaid,
Yeah,
best
That's so
bridesmaid.
funny.
no, not the best one.
Best
Her sister's the
You'd be
best.
maid of honor.
The best.
You know it, man. Yeah,
No, I
Yeah,
mean, I
because
actually-
best man.
best bridesmaid.
Yeah.
Maid of honor.
I'm the best,
Best
bridesmaid.
one.
To be fair, bridesmaid
Most
makes a lot
important.
more sense than best man. It's like, who's this? Like, we got to
mean
compete
maid-
for
maid
best
of
man.
honor?
You can't just
Yeah.
be given the title. you know?
True, yeah.
It's like, how do
Yeah,
we
gotta
know?
fight for it.
Can he even fish, bruh?
Fish? What?
I don't know, best
Oh.
man. I don't know. What determines a good guy? I don't know.
Probably
Is he
the
gentle
groom.
and kind?
No, I think the groom determines.
No.
who's a
I
good
mean
guy.
literal best man. You guys are like the
best.
groom doesn't know. He just knows who his best friend is.
Yeah, he's
which is fine.
biased.
Yeah,
But he
it
doesn't
should
know
just
who
be
the
called
best-
the best friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
best friend. It's not
Yeah,
best
true.
man necessarily. You know,
That should be.
maybe that's Harry Styles. Maybe that's. You know,
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I don't
who
feel
knows?
comfortable giving that title out so easily.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Probably Ryan Reynolds, honestly.
Ryan
Funny.
Reynolds is a great guy.
Yeah,
He does seem like a nice
Funny,
guy.
very comfortable with himself. Like
Yeah.
you know,
a little quirky,
he
a
could
little
a
be
little
crazy.
the
quirky,
best man.
smart,
Yeah.
caring.
Ryan Gosling.
And then you're just gonna
Nah.
call me a best man.
I like
No.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is great.
Where's he
Yeah.
been?
I think Ryan
He's
Reynolds
been
is
gone.
better.
I feel like I haven't
Okay.
seen him in
Who?
anything.
He's been-
Ryan
Ryan
Gosling.
Gosling.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, what's the last thing he did?
La La
The
Land?
Notebook. Oh yeah.
No,
La
we did
La Land.
a sci-fi flick. That sci-fi flick about.
Our movie's called Flicks
Flick.
and Minutes.
Yeah, I know.
You have
That
some
feels like
serious
such a
90s
Woods-
energy
Woods
right
thing
there.
to
That was
do.
cool.
Sci-fi flick.
Season that sci-fi flick. Yeah.
You know, the one with the flying cars? It's gloomy.
You have that vibe of like, have you guys ever seen
Oh,
that?
Blade Runner? Or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
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 The Blade Runner
Flying
reboot.
cars and
He
it's
was in
gloomy.
To be fair, you're right. Yeah, I love those movies. But have you guys ever had that dude pop up on your 40 page like, hey there, how's it going? Like, take a seat with me. Let's play some Nintendo 64 and let's make up a little breakfast. And he literally
No.
just does
Oh,
like,
what?
The dog?
yeah, see, you have that vibe. His name's like Hawkeye something like.
Hawkeye?
I don't remember what his name is.
Yeah,
But he
he'll
like,
just- he'll
Jeremy
cozy
Renner?
as fuck.
Because of these TikToks, and he'll just go out into like the middle of nature. He's in Canada or something.
Oh,
and he has
yes.
this dog, and he's like, Oh, just like that, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, some crispy bacon for my bus.
Yes. And you just hear those
To his
sizzles. Like,
dog.
it's kind of like ASMR, but like visually, you know.
Yeah, he's like,
you have that
just me and my dog.
just turning on a little flick
Me and
for my
best
boys.
friend outside.
Turn on a flick.
That's so nice.
Yeah, I want to watch that.
That's a
That
cozy
sounds
vibe.
great.
What's
You just spiraled through like 5 or 6 subjects.
I know. I have no
Welcome
idea
to
what we're
podcast.
talking about.
Anyways, yeah. So production's going good. We're filming 2 videos this week. Oh yeah.
Sponsored by your mom. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if I have any other like production updates. One of the I forgot to send this message. So I'm literally going to do it right now in our production chat.
Share with the class.
One of the videos we're filming this week, we kind of had to adjust because during a run through we forgot that like one is technically needs to happen a little bit at night. So Bailey, we're gonna be adjusting our hours for Thursday.
Ooh.
It's gonna be a clock in at noon and at around 8.
I would check in with
Okay.
Matt too. Oh, I guess it
We
makes
did.
more sense because Matt. I also talked to Matt, and Matt said he's down with shooting earlier in the day,
What's
like
that
in the mornings. He's like
we
he's
need
like
the darkness.
no, I know for that, but I know we do nighttime shoots a lot more now. And he's like, do you know why we do more nighttime shoots? Like, I don't know. He's like, I don't care. He's like, but I know we used to do morning shoots, and we stopped. And I think we stopped because Matt had to request it specifically one time. But just I don't know if you ever do like shoot mornings.
You
He
mean
said-
doing it in the afternoon rather than the morning?
No, I mean like 9 a.m. Because don't we normally shoot now at like 1 or 2?
One, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because we've only been doing like 1 video a week, and it's like, if we need like extra prep time in the morning or stuff like that.
That makes sense, actually. Yeah,
But-
I just remember. Yeah, if you were, I just remember him saying that to me. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know." He's like, "I'm free in that morning." I just feel like it because it changed, and he's like, "I don't want." He didn't want people to think that he's the reason that like that time isn't blocked. out.
Yeah, no. It's honestly just been because they're
Convenient.
yeah, it's more convenient to like have Thursday morning to like go through any last minute stuff, setting up camera,
Yeah, anything
printing
emergency
those
that
beat
happens.
cards, any sort of last minute things. It's like, okay,
That makes sense.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so
No,
we're
I
so
don't
a portion of the shoot's going to be happening at night, and that's all I'll say about that. But Bailey, make sure you check that message because there's stuff about wardrobe in there too.
Sleepover.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. Huh.
I'm kidding.
I love
I don't
doing
even know what's
night shifts.
happening.
Yeah, you do.
I do?
You're involved.
Oh,
well, no,
okay.
you're not. You don't. You're not like involved. You don't like be there.
Not involved.
You can be there if you want.
Yeah, you can. Sorry, I just
Nah.
burped right into the mic.
Fly guy.
So that's production.
Nice.
Pretty simple, straightforward.
As if it were the middle of the night.
Yes. So like I'm bringing like pajamas
PJs,
and like
you
my
are?
glasses and like
Oh.
makeup wipes and stuff. I mean, do whatever you want. But like I'm
Like as if we're getting woken up in the middle of the night. Like, oh.
and that's all I'll say about that. I feel like that was just stuff that I was like, I have to tell her about like the nighttime stuff because she needs to be prepared.
Yeah.
PJs.
PJs.
I'm excited.
Everyone wear your most embarrassing pajamas.
I don't
Don't have.
have
pajamas.
any.
Just gonna come in a Batman onesie.
I haven't worn pajamas in
Just wear sweats. I
20
suppose.
years. Feels like.
Yeah, like what?
What? Yeah.
Why? What are PJs for? You know.
Sleeping.
Comfy
You
sleeping.
guys don't like like maybe this is like too much. Never
Do you
mind.
sleep naked?
No, go ahead.
No, not absolutely
Oh.
naked. Like
Just like in your
undergarments.
underwear. Yeah.
Undergarments. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good way to wrap
Oh.
that up.
Well,
Yeah.
but like we don't
That's a
sleep.
good way to
Literally.
It's always a good way. It's always a good way to wrap it up.
But like I don't know, male undergarments I feel like are more comfortable than female undergarments. Like
Sometimes, yeah.
I wouldn't sleep in a bra.
Oh no. No one does
I
that.
wouldn't either.
Well, I
Yeah.
do, but it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep it
Just get used to
supported
it.
through the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Wow, I'm excited. Can't wait.
Yeah.
I like night shoots generally just because it's like ooh,
It's fun.
Yeah.
It adds
Also,
fun
you
After
dodge
hours.
traffic on the way home. It's
Yeah,
pretty
no
nice.
kidding.
Well,
and you get to
sometimes,
sleep
yeah.
in the morning.
Mm,
Love that.
There you go.
I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
That's sad.
That
You
sucks
don't?
for you.
One
Yeah.
day you'll get to sleep in.
Well, because technically I'm a salary employee, and so there's still sometimes like when we do night shoots, there are still like other kind of like morning obligation things, like for members that aren't a part of the production team, like just kind of like early morning meetings and stuff.
Sam,
And it's like,
Just
That
sleep
sucks,
in a
dude.
little bit.
I found I don't even like sleeping in. So
Really?
I don't like sleeping in past like 10
if
anyways.
it gets to 9:30 or 10 and I get
Yeah.
up and I have to go through a routine. I got to get up, I
Yeah.
got to get ready, I got to wake up, and then if I'm not done waking up by like 10:30, I'm like, oh, I have an hour and a half left until afternoon, and then I only have a few hours left until dark.
Yeah.
So I've lost
Back
it
to
all.
bed.
Yep, it's time to give up.
This day's ruined.
Yep, it's over. Restart again tomorrow. So
Dude, I feel that.
it's nice
Yeah,
to wake up.
whenever I
early.
wake up at like, I haven't been waking up like my normal teen hours. You
Mhm.
know, when you wake up at like 3 in the afternoon,
yeah.
you're like, ugh.
Yeah, that does feel
you just
strange.
feel like death.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just go to a party after
Yeah.
that.
And you keep convincing yourself
What
that
a
this is
life.
happiness. You're
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm living it.
I mean, at the time, it was pretty. I was happy.
Yeah.
I'll say,
Mm.
happy, but unhealthy.
Volatile.
Yeah, volatile. Just kind of a little dangerous.
Flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah, burning the midnight candle.
Yes.
The wick.
Candle.
Oh,
Whatever.
Yeah.
John.
Itinerary.
Yeah.
Just saying things my
What
mom
are we
said.
talking about?
No,
I
I'm
know,
loving
I'm
this
talking
moment.
right now. But
yeah.
So
Yeah. Killing it.
not anymore. Now I wake up at like
6.
9 is my
Latest.
sleep in. But yeah, normally
Oh.
I'll wake up at like 7:30, and I'm like,
Same.
wow, wait, look at you.
It
big
feels
boy.
good. Then you go get a coffee and you have like
Good
4
job,
hours
guys.
of perfect.
Yeah, I've the last couple days I've gotten better, at least at like trying to stay awake when my first alarm goes off around like 6:30, because like I have to, if I want to get here at 8, I have to leave or be starting to drive at least by 7:30, and so it's like I want to just not be as rushed in the morning, so I'm trying to like be up and active a little bit more before I
Yeah.
get in the car.
It's a
But
losing
It's not
battle.
easy.
it's nice getting here like at 8. I feel like my mornings here are so much more productive than they are at home when I like work from home in the mornings.
I get that. Because, yeah, my alarm will go off at 8, and then I just grab my laptop and lay in
Put it
bed
in
with
bed.
my
Yeah,
laptop.
exactly.
Yeah, and I'm just, like, not really awake.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
No, I've made
waiting
the
for someone to
mistake-
ping her on
Well,
Slack.
yeah.
I know. I've made the mistake of responding to Slack messages before when I'm like half awake on my phone in bed. Like, and then I look at it and I'm like, I misspelled so many
Yeah.
things. Like, that doesn't make sense.
You
Or
started
it's like-
typing in Sanskrit.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, or I'll respond to it and then I'll like fall back asleep and then I wake up because I got a response and I'm like, oh, that's not what I meant to say, or like this was to the wrong person. I'm like, this is why I shouldn't do this.
Yeah. No, I get that.
It
though.
happens, yeah. I feel that.
So
Nice.
what's up, Tanner?
I had an update I wanted to say. Let me think about it.
An update.
Yeah. Oh yeah, podcast. So the podcast, we filmed a podcast the week before we went on break.
Winter break?
The week before we went on winter break. Audio just broke.
No.
Doesn't exist. So
Boo.
yeah, but let's she's like, hey, the audio is just like broken, and I was like,
Oh,
love
so
to see it.
sad.
So yeah, audio is
Sad.
broken.
I love that we're all looking
Yeah.
at
Everyone's
the
like,
audio.
but is it now?
What's
What the heck?
happening?
What's
Why
up,
would you
Mr.
do that? Audio?
Yeah, so that's a bummer. But so we kind of explained in that podcast why we were taking the break, what's going on in the break, and I was hoping it would come out and then you'd see it and be like, oh, so that's kind of what happened, and now it never will.
Yeah.
But just know we talked about what we were doing for the holidays during that, and then also like this is what the break is for, yada yada yada. So that week
Blooby-dooby-dooby.
with that weird stuff of content, like just know like that was planned. It didn't just happen randomly.
Right.
So sorry about that. Hopefully won't happen again. But just wanted to give you guys that update. And yeah, we have some more reaction videos coming out now. So we're gonna have Sam and Bailey are gonna shoot a reaction video today, reacting to
yeah,
some older
fun.
content.
What are we reacting to?
We're gonna decide then because we don't have to
Cool.
worry so much about marketing it anymore.
Crazy.
You know, it's gonna be more about like what moments do we want
Yeah.
to like talk about.
That's fun.
Versus like, is this gonna get views on YouTube? So that's a nice
Yeah.
little change of pace.
Nice.
So we're gonna do that for the next couple weeks and release those. It's gonna be pretty cool. Anyways, the video we released yesterday was Matt's interview with the experiment survivor.
Wow.
Technically, it was Woods as well,
interview.
the erasure.
Huh?
The
Woods
erasure.
interviewed him.
True with the thing in, but we all know.
But in the thumbnail, it's Matt.
And the
so-
iconic moment is, does anybody remember the iconic sentence that everyone's
Time
freaking
is
out?
ticking.
Time is ticking. Everyone's
Everyone's freaking out.
losing
Freaking
it
they're
right now.
losing their minds.
Up in here. What are your guys' opinions, reactions to the audience, as well as like the volatility of that word? I mean, I kind of want to
Yeah.
hear Woods talk a bit about the interviewing process with
with
the experiment survivor. You know,
Yeah, she was an amazing actress. She like
she had such a personality. She was
yeah,
kind of
so,
like
she's ready to be
she
there.
gave cool teacher vibes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
she
Very
she,
true.
She was definitely like playing up the spaz and the antsy, like the
Paranoia.
Playing up the spaz. Yeah.
But yeah, even though her face was like blurred and so was her voice. Apparently she was found.
People are recognizing
people
her.
recognize
Yeah,
her.
which is just like
Wow.
insane because her voice was like all distorted and her face was always
Completely
pixelated.
blurred, yeah.
Wait, how
Yeah.
are people?
Like,
Are they posting on Reddit?
Well, no,
No, in
someone
the
just said like
comments.
she kind of gives off the same vibes as this other actress in Darman videos because she's done a few Darman videos.
Mhm.
yeah.
But isn't that kind of crazy that people are recognizing a Darman actress? I don't know. From
Isn't that
like
crazy our audience
so
is watching
blurry.
Darman videos?
Well,
What's
it's
wrong with
funny
that?
because I brought it up to Brian who works on Darman, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Wow, people are recognizing her," and he was like, "Wow, it's weird that like Darman and Project 863
Have
have
some
crossover."
crossover? Yeah.
feels like very different content.
Yeah.
I think it's the
It's-
same, similar, like goes over moral ambiguous stuff,
Yeah.
morally ambiguous things.
It's also like I was personally like I understand in the story and I think it was the right choice in the story for us to like blur her face and distort her voice. But after I saw her, because I'm the one that casted the process, or I'm the one that did the casting process for trying to find this survivor, and there were a couple people that were like interesting, but she was definitely one where when I saw the self tape it was like this is what we're looking for. Like,
Yeah.
this is
looked like
She's
wood.
She
nervous.
looked, yeah,
Wow.
and she also like looked like she would be like either related to Woods, and I know that that's not necessarily an in story. It's more of like family friend, like was friends with your mom, but like,
Yeah, she
but
reminded
like
me of my mother.
She
but
looks
like
like your mom,
she
bro.
looked like she would just be in your world, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
yeah.
and so like it was just
Yeah.
like instantly yes. And so I was a little bummed that we like in story had to blur her face because like she was really like acting. She was actually crying. Like
Yeah.
she was like
was
really
good.
like she was
Whoa.
so committed to it. And so it was kind of like, oh man, I wish even just like for her sake we could like show her face.
Totally.
But
Yeah, well, it was really interesting because I actually saw a comment that was like, is it just me or does this actress look like her name, first and last name? And I was like, how did they
How?
know her name? And then I was like, maybe you should put somebody up to this to like be like, huh, this looks
Yeah.
like so and
might
so
be
to like
right.
get her a
Like she-
credit.
Like
kind of
she
thing.
was under that account. Saying that?
Maybe.
Doesn't this look exactly like me?
yeah.
I kind of that makes a lot of sense to me because it's like
Because like otherwise like she is gonna go uncredited just
Yeah.
because that's the nature of our content.
yeah, and she's like, maybe we stir the pot a little bit and see if people agree. Maybe we have. I don't blame her.
You're smart, dude. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of smart.
No,
Get the
yeah, I
crowd
thought it was
roaring.
like- Yeah, because I was like, I mean, she's not a super well-known actress, so I was
No.
like, for someone to know her by name, that's very
We
specific.
just go on Darman's content and like there's comments like, doesn't this lady kind of look like the
Experiment
the survivor from 863?
Yeah, the Syntax Survivor.
If you were to pixelate this woman's face, she would look just like the girl in the behind its
Well,
three
and
experiments
actually,
vibe.
okay, here's something that might, I don't know if this would explain it, but because I knew what she looked like, there were certain moments where I was like, doing some watch throughs and then I would like turn away and like out of the corner of my eye, because it was pixelated, my brain almost made it look like her face.
Interesting, yeah.
Or like if I squinted or like looked at it from a distance, because you know how like when pixelated images up close are pixels, but then from afar they kind of make more of a shape. There were a few moments where I, as I was doing a watch through, had to like rewatch certain sections because I couldn't tell if like the pixelation was still there for a
Interesting.
split second.
To be fair, though, we literally showed the face of B27 and people thought it was Woods. So it's like,
yeah, I know. It's like
It's like, are they really that
it's like,
good?
what?
Like, come on.
I don't know.
It's like,
But,
hey,
like,
we'll
there were-
give you the face and you still get it wrong.
And you still will get it wrong. Yeah, there were just some moments where I was like, oh wait, it like looked like her, but it was
Yeah.
pixelated. So maybe some people are just like mega Darman fans,
Maybe,
and
well,
they're
see,
like,
that's what I'm thinking. But like,
if I squint,
those
it looks
exist.
like her.
Yeah,
Imagine being
exactly.
a mega Darman fan.
I
Imagine
know,
just
right?
like binging like for like 10 hours straight, just like
Nah, man.
fake acting and just like
It's
just like kind of moral
acting.
compasses and stuff.
what's fake acting?
I guess being real.
Yeah.
I get it now.
After I look, because I forgot what she
nice.
looked like after we watched it and then watching the video, I can't unsee her as Freddie's mom from iCarly. Like that's all I see when I watch it, and
That's
it's really
amazing.
funny.
No.
Oh.
yeah,
No,
but-
I would have been way more excited. I mean, no, that's not like nothing against her, but like I would have been like, this is dope.
No, in the
And we
video
also
it
would
looks
not
like
have
her.
blurred her face. If
Yeah,
that was
oh
her.
yeah, true. But I actually saw that in a comment and I was like, yes. someone
Freddie's
else.
mom.
Freddie's
Yeah,
mom.
Freddie's mom from
Freddie's
iCarly. It
mom
totally looks
has
like her.
got
She's got those like
going
little
on.
like micro
Mannerisms.
movements and mannerisms.
Yes,
and she's like,
yeah. Well, also Freddie's mom was like kind of neurotic too, so I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
that
Very.
yeah,
But
kind of.
yeah,
like
she
kind
did
of
a-
had the same haircut on him.
Yeah, exactly.
She did a killer job,
Yeah, she did.
and it was great working with her.
Tanner, are we gonna talk about some comments?
Sure, yeah, that's what I'm pulling those up right now.
Just because
You have one. Go for it.
I saw one,
Love
and
the vibe.
just because I think we talked about this on a previous
Podcast.
podcast, exactly, about how sometimes like my favorite comments are when people like comment in two parts, basically.
Yeah, like in story
like this.
and out of
yeah,
story.
here's an example. Someone's like, Matt, you've got to be patient. I get that you want this over and done with, but she has a fragile mind. Like, she was tortured. Plus, time is ticking might be a trigger for her for something. Like, calm down. And then they did space, space, space. I know this is for the story. Just my opinion on how he acted in the story. I know he isn't really like this. Keep up the amazing work. Can't wait for the next
Yeah,
episode.
I love when
like that's
people
just
do
like in two like separate from each other are the same. Like, Matt needs to be patient. Like, he's being too hot-headed. Yada yada yada. Space, space, space. Just my opinion for the story. I know Matt's not actually like this. Like, and that just makes me so happy. Like, just because it's like, yes, like this is like, in my opinion, like my ideal kind of interaction of like people playing along.
Yeah.
I agree. I think like if there's something like when you make the haptic, even though they know, I think when you make the haptic connection of like typing something out, writing something out, like seeing what you're doing, translating to a thought on something else, I think it like kind of it puts it more as like an argument more than just like kind of bearing it in your own head as like truth or something, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think like at least and it makes it more solidified. Like I'm like coding, like Matt and I are doing this coding stuff right now. But if I don't code and I'm just listening, it does not bury itself in my head. It doesn't make any sense, you know? But if I like code along, do some like my own stuff, like figure that stuff out, like totally like cements itself. I can look at it more objectively. It just makes a lot more sense. And then so when new things get added onto it, I'm like able to better like solidify and like formulate things a bit easier. And so I think I agree with you in that same sense of like, even though this person knows, they already know like, hey, this is just like Matt acting or whatever. Them typing out and like haptically like cementing this idea, this argument of like what's going on, of like what Matt's doing, who he is, why he should or shouldn't be doing that, what he should be doing, like how he should be acting, what he's saying, putting it all out there. I think when the transformation comes to happen, like when the big like change in Matt or whatever, you know, like that we're trying to portray comes along, right? I think it's gonna hit so much like harder for that person, you know? And I also think it's going to help with people that are like reading the comments, you know, who just like kind of go through that. Like they're finding all these other arguments too. Like they're bouncing all these confusing things in their head.
Yeah.
And then, it's just such a good setup. Like this is such an interesting little like dang moment, you know, because that's my only issue with Darman, you know? Darman. How do you even say that? Darman? Darman. Where do you emphasize it? Either way, is his whole thing happens in one episode. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he like creates like the moral ambiguous like nature of the video. The even though a lot of them are really bad, but he still makes this like weird moral argument here, creates the gray area, and then resolves it in the same episode. So there's no time for you to like write something, be wrong, like have an opinion. It's just like oh, I think this, boom, like shifts it. Whoa, you know, dopamine hit, and then you go to the next one. I don't think there's any real like change, any real adaptation happening from that. But for us, it's like such a long burn, like a slow burn, that kind of stuff is just like it's going to keep compiling until it hits. And
Exactly.
it's just like, ooh.
And
I'm
it's like
excited for
people
that.
are going to have time to like form opinions and thoughts and feelings about all of our characters and like predicting where each of us individually are going to go. And like they're either going to be right or wrong. And like that payoff is, I think that's going to be a big payoff.
I totally agree. And I like that they're separating these comments, especially when it comes to disparaging someone's character.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think, you know, like, I mean, obviously Matt isn't actually a bad person and like, you know, this isn't Matt acting this way. This is his character. But like, so, I mean, sometimes because, you know, you don't know totally if people are in on it when they're like, Matt, you're being so dumb right now. And then you're just like, oh man, that feels bad for Matt.
It's like, I hope you're just doing this in story.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's nice when they're like, just kidding, this is great.
yeah.
Like, okay, cool, thanks.
And that's my thing is like I'm gonna read this comment too because I think this is like the perfect like two-part summation is like you get you get the emotional thing, and then you get kind of like the like, oh, they're getting this, but I don't even know if they're kind of getting it kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like they start off with like, a lot of people are saying that Matt has been bulldozing for a while now, and I agree. Like, you know, kind of like a big statement, you know. It's like, and it's hard because it's like Matt is playing himself, so it kind of sounds like they're talking about like his personality. They might not know the separation, but then they go to, however, although the serum may play a part in this, I'm seeing more of a God complex from him. Like they kind of go into this more like objective look at to what's causing it.
Yeah.
They look at the problem, not the person, which I find to be so fascinating. I love that, because it's not, I mean, there still are some people who are like, oh my gosh, Matt, you're so dumb. Why would you do that? But then I feel like I'm seeing a lot more of people saying, these are Matt's actions. This is why Matt's actions are that way. Not like Matt's an idiot for doing this, you know?
They're talking about him like a character.
Yeah, they're not talking about him like a person with a personality problem. They're talking about like, hey, this is a person that's got a really bad actions, and this is why I think he's doing these things.
Yeah.
They're not talking about him.
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
It's really
like,
cool.
It's like when you're theorizing about like why Loki is doing something, like you're talking about Loki and like his background and what's happening and all this stuff. You're not like Tom Hiddleston sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, some people might be, but like,
Yeah,
but
fair.
like when you're talking about what the character is doing, obviously that's such a more obvious example of like the separation between characters and actors. But what they're doing is they're theorizing about the character, which I think is what we want them to do, and that's a very
100%.
interesting comment.
Yeah. I just found that super fascinating. And that's what I'm kind of getting the vibe from all the comments. Like, the videos are naturally getting less comments now, which I find to be natural, right? Like,
How come?
It's just more uncomfortable right now. I feel like when something's really, really uncomfortable, it's like kind of puts a polarization within you. You know, it's not as easy to comment about something, I feel like.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When something's complicated and there's no, like, you'll see that. Like, that's true in life too. You know, is when there's really complicated issues, I feel like there's a lot less people talking, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of smaller people talking a lot louder, right? But I feel like most people are like, I'm just trying to kind of understand what's happening right now.
Yeah.
you know?
Processing.
Like, you see that all over today. And so I think that's kind of what's happening in our videos, is there's no obvious answer, you know, like comparatively, like when the whole Deb situation happened at the end of last season, you know, everyone's commenting, everyone knows like this is what we're supposed to talk about, you know,
Right.
and now everyone's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say, like is Matt actually this way, like why is Matt acting this way? I mean, Matt kind of has been doing this, but like he's not always done this. Like I feel like there's a lot of kind of confusion.
I think there's a lot of waiting to see what happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just like, I'm not going to form a strong opinion yet. I'm not going to, you know, make a comment yet that's saying like, I know what's going to happen, because like, yeah, I don't know yet. It feels like it's changing every video. So it's like, I'm just going to wait and like watch
Right.
it unfold.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed like the Reddit and 863 Plus have been kind of quiet too.
Yeah, there are like, I don't know, I don't have the exact numbers towards like viewership and everything, but I do think it makes a lot more sense, at least for like just like the feeling level of like I feel like a lot of people are commenting out of like more like trying to reason or like trying to rationalize or like maybe some internal anger, but I feel like most people aren't normally just like super angry at stuff, so I think that's why they're not like raging, you know?
Right.
They're just kind of like, oh, this is weird, like I'm waiting to see, you know?
True.
So yeah, I found that to be pretty fascinating. Yeah, I'm curious as well, Bailey, from this last episode towards the future, right? So the last episode I went live towards like the future, everything going on, kind of like what is your thought process and theorization with like a lot of what's happening? Because yeah, we haven't shot a video after this one, have we?
Yeah.
You're right.
Correct.
What's
Yeah,
going on?
because we didn't film
Yeah,
last
give
week.
us a little, like where's your head at with like as much as you can know, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the two biggest things that we learned from this past video, from my perspective, is the fact that there are sensors in our walls, paranormal sensors that Syntech planted there. And then the fact that we more or less got confirmation that Matt is not okay. Just in terms of like having the absolute around his neck. Like she basically said that he is like, that's the only reason why he's alive.
So can I clarify that point? I think, because you know, yeah, exactly. She's not necessarily, or maybe he's he like the serum itself or whatever like might not be okay, or like the absolute like is actually dangerous. But the biggest takeaway I think from that point is exactly like you said, that's what might be like just keeping him alive,
right?
Per se.
Yeah.
But so like maybe that's stabilized something. Maybe that's.
Right.
Who knows? Sorry, keep going. I just want, for a second it kind of sounded like you were saying that like the absolute was like making him sicker, and I was like, wait, I just want to clarify.
No, yeah, like it's, I mean, I think the underlying issue is that the absolute is helping him, but what is it helping him from is the problem, because it's like, what would happen if he did take the absolute off? Next episode, I'm gonna rip it off his neck, and we're gonna find out.
Oh my god! Bailey just starts the next video like, so you know, she said, "What would happen if you take it off?" Just rips it. Like, oh my god! So every now and then, I just love to imagine Bailey going like, I mean, there's no book you're working off of, but just going like completely off book and just like just wilding out in one video, and us being like, how do we bring this back in?
She's the ultimate wild card.
Yeah.
She could really roll in, not say anything for a week, and then just be like, I'm doing this today.
Take off your necklace, Matt. No, I'd be like,
I was like, what the heck's happening? She slapped it. You earned that. I'm like, what?
Oh my god.
It's like, have you ever seen It's
4
Always
weeks
Sunny?
of riding down the drain.
Yeah,
we're just like
going this way now.
I was genuinely thinking, like, after she said, like, yeah, the absolute is what's keeping him alive, I was like, I just am curious, like, what would happen if I did walk in and take it off? Like, how would everybody react? Like, I have a feeling everybody would just be like, okay, no, we can't.
No, but that's like the energy. That's the energy
I
we
would
like.
love to play, like, because my knee-jerk reaction was like, if I was filming and you like confidently enough like went up to him and took it off, one, I think he'd probably do this first, and he'd be like, what are you doing? But like, if you actually took it off, I think I'd be like, no, like, you know, because in our brains, like, what we have heard from the survivor is like, this might be the only thing keeping him alive. So I think I would switch into the gear of like, okay, Samantha, like, you are seeing Bailey like rip off the only thing that's like keeping Matt alive, or like, so we think based off of what we've heard.
That's the energy we need, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of like, I would play off
Maybe
of
I'll
it.
do it.
I wouldn't like cut. I'd be like, what? And then he'd be like, Bailey, why did you do that? And I think Matt would keep going too. I think Matt would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, might as well do some reverse Uno and get some real reactions from the other side. What?
You would rip it off and you'd be like,
I just wanted to see how it
yeah,
happens.
Yeah, like, let's just watch and see what happens.
Oh my god.
Spikes it in the ground. Everyone's like,
no, she just takes it, like, eats it. It's like, why that? Why
she
not?
just has that serious, like, if you've ever seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like, have you ever seen like the wild card scene where he's in the back of the van?
Yes, wild card.
You know, that's like her.
Is this the one where he's like drinking gasoline or something? Or he like pushes or opens the van and like pushes the gallons out?
Just
Or
doing what no one's
wild
expecting.
card.
I think
I'll
it's-
plan something. I'll do something that you guys aren't expecting one day.
But-
And just
I
see.
mean,
That makes
live your
sense.
life. Do whatever. Like Tanner was saying, like, you are the audience. So it's like, if your knee-jerk reaction is like, well, we heard that's the only thing keeping him alive. Like, what if I take it off of him? Like,
that's a
follow
little
it.
malicious.
that's
Like,
so
do
cool.
it.
Do
I? Mean,
well, if
is
you
that
want
murder?
him to keep if you want him to stay alive, you know. But
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say rip it off his neck, just because that's kind of like, I don't know, it's a little bit drastic. Would you do that normally?
Would
No,
you
well, I was
possibly
gonna
kill
say,
him?
like,
Would you ask him?
I was gonna say, like, I think I would probably say, like, Matt, let's
Take it
like,
off.
yeah,
Take it
take off
off.
the necklace
Yeah.
and see what happens, and we can put it back on
and
if you
can
start
pitch that.
like,
like you know,
dying.
there are things that, like, yeah, I mean, because again, if while we're filming, if Matt, you know, doesn't want to go in that direction, or if like there's some like major gap there, then we'll just kind of be like, no.
This is just one
But,
giant
no.
simulation
Yeah,
for
but just
Bailey.
do it,
She's
yeah.
really just like that episode of Rick and Morty where they're like in space and they're trying to get that formula from Rick, you know, and he's up there with the helmet on, and they just keep putting him in other like simulations like until he believes it. We're kind of just doing it to Bailey, like, yeah, Bailey, just do whatever you want.
do whatever you want,
You're,
Bailey.
You're playing your game.
You're
Yeah.
in control.
Well, see, that's the weird thing is, like, I think that a big reason why I tend to go with what Matt is saying and I don't tend to fight Matt is because I feel really weird doing it. Like, when we went to Wood's apartment in the car and I said something to Matt and Matt started yelling at me and then I started yelling at Matt, and after I yelled at him I was like, oh my god, I just yelled at Matt.
Or like, yeah.
It just feels so real. It's like I'm yelling at my
You
boss
should do
right
it in
now.
real
So
life.
like,
It's fun.
Have you ever
It's-
yelled
I
at
don't
anybody
like
in real life?
Well,
not
because
that I
even
can
now, right now, you're
remember.
saying you yelled at Matt, and I was like, I think you guys just disagreed with
Well,
each other.
I felt
I yelled
like
at Matt, and she's
that's
like,
like
Matt, stop.
that was like the biggest altercation I've ever gotten in.
Yeah.
But like no, because I was like, because he was like, why you guys always blame this on me? And I was like,
We don't.
yeah, I forgot what I said.
I don't
but-
remember exactly what you said, but now that you say that, like, I remember you, like, yeah.
Oh, I
we
said
don't-
I said like if you said that we would stop if you went too far, and
Oh,
I think
yeah,
this is something like
yeah.
that. But I don't really.
Oh, well, no, it was weird when Matt made me hit him, and like not like in the face, but like even just like in the like when we were coming out of the RV, and like it was like after the whole like B-27 we had like pulled up while we were still in there, so I like got out, made a distraction. We're driving back from all of that, and he like wanted me to get really riled up and be like, "Why did you do that?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Feels
God, I don't
wrong."
wanna, like hit him." But also, I think it would be fun to like and. I think it would really be fun for one of us, probably either Woods or Matt, to get like slapped in the face. Like I don't
That
know
would be
why
fun.
or when, but I just think like there's something about that visual that I think like would
Who would
be
slap him?
cool.
I think it'd be cool for you guys to like have like a little like pushing altercation, like wrestle in the grass a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just like,
Hey,
like
no, okay,
Ooh.
they could barely hug on camera without that being blocked out.
not
So
like
I don't know.
not like sensitive
Got
wrestling,
blocked
more
out.
just like bro, like push. It's like bro, like get like like little like
Sensitive wrestling.
like a little like
ground
two bros
hugging.
disagreeing. You know, it's like dude, like stop it, bro.
Yeah, I think we
Just
need,
just wait till we get into stage combat.
yeah, we need some more physical altercations.
I think we like it could
Just
be
cuts to
fun.
a tiny what's the guy from Rush Hour?
Jackie
Oh,
Chan.
no.
Jackie
Kevin
Chan. It just
Hart.
like cuts
Oh.
to like Jackie Chan, like way short, and everybody just like kickboxing Woods. And he's like, what? And then cuts back.
Oh, it's like a stunt double.
Yeah.
with that?
Oh, funny.
Sorry, I should have clarified. I'm like, where's
I was
Jackie
like a
Chan?
small Jackie
Someone
Chan.
said stage fighting. I instantly thought just like different cameras,
Those
just
are
like
some
Jackie Chan
stunts.
from the back wearing Matt's clothes, is
Yeah.
kicking Woods.
That would be fun. Why wouldn't I get a stunt double?
No way.
Do your
You got
own
a budget,
stunts,
bro.
yeah.
You
That's
can take it in.
Jackie Chan and like
That's even funnier though. Is just cutting to like this weirdly stage scene where we can't see their faces, but they're fighting, and it's like very clearly no longer
Not
Woods
Matt.
or
Yeah.
Matt.
it's just Jackie Chan, another stunt double.
Yeah.
Clearly not
Just
me.
some
Just
frat kid
fighting.
stunt doubles. Just
Yeah.
getting crap kicked out of him. Ah.
Anyways,
Camera pans back over to me and Matt just like eating chips watching.
That'd be
It's
great.
such a
That's
funny
actually
bit.
That'd be
that's
very
pretty
funny
funny.
blooper.
I like
So
that.
Bailey, where else do you think the story is going based off of just the interview with the survivor?
Gosh,
Yeah. What do you think's going on with
Woods
me?
trying to put.
with who?
Me.
Oh, with you.
Yeah, I mean Woods quit and then he kind of came
Everyone
back.
is
He's
so.
back.
Everyone's simping for Woods in the comments.
I know
right
everyone's
now, bro.
like, if I was Woods, I would have quit too because Matt is acting so crazy that like I would have stolen the file. I
Yeah.
literally read that comment today. It was like I would have hid the file too because like Matt's been acting so weird, and it's like what
People-
Woods said was wrong. That was supposed to be wrong.
They're only on Woods. No matter what
Woods
Woods,
can do
does,
anything. And
I was
I
gonna say.
would too.
Yeah, it's literally like Woods will always be right in the audience's eyes. It
Yeah,
doesn't
Woods
matter what he does.
stabbed a
He
man,
kill-
but
yeah, he
wouldn't
kills
you if
Matt.
he looked at you funny?
Yeah, he
All right,
kills
well-
Matt, and they're like, "Oh well, good."
Well, you guys. I mean, you guys are acting like as if I like stole the file to like do my own thing, but it was like out of
Protection.
protection, right?
Yeah.
Like it was out of like there was maybe misled, you know,
Motives.
moral judgment, right? And like moral decisions made.
Lies
So-
and deceit.
lies and deceit, but out of the greater good.
No,
Yeah.
I understand. Like, your character was written to have that moral quandary of like, do I
Quite.
lie to my team or do I try and protect
Quandary.
this person?
Quite, and I think
Yeah,
that
dude.
like,
Nice.
You're welcome. You can have that.
you know, I think that there's either, you know, F Woods or like.
I've never seen.
I was gonna say, I
Well,
don't
that's
think
what
that
I'm saying.
happened.
I've
It's
seen people be like, I disagree with
because
Woods.
you can't.
Yeah.
Because you can't. Like
In this
the
story.
the thing I did, no practical person's gonna be like, oh well, F that guy.
Yeah, you went against the man in a good way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
And also, it was resolved. If we left the conflict as Woods stole evidence from us and we didn't find out what that evidence was for 2 episodes, in those 2 episodes, people would be like, whoa, that sucks that Woods did that. Why did he do that?
Mm-hmm.
But in that same episode, like it's literally just from a cliffhanger to the beginning of the next episode, Woods explains himself, saying like, "I know the person on the file, and I was scared for their safety." And it's like, oh, Robin Hood over here.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's like, oh, look at Woods.
But you could have
It's
told
so
us.
sensitive.
Steals from the bad for the good.
Yeah.
Robin Hood.
Oh man.
And so I think that's, there was no. I think that's a great point. There was no room for like F Woods. It was like,
Yeah.
oh no, we see his perspective.
Totally.
I would love to date Woods. He is so protective. If I ever did anything illegal, he would
Stop.
protect me. Yeah.
Oh man.
Why else do you want to
Only
date
if-
Woods?
Huh?
Why else do you want to date
Yeah,
Woods?
yeah.
That's the only reason.
Oh.
The eyes.
Which is, oh,
Oh,
that's all he brings
you're
to the
just
table.
protective.
Alright, yeah.
He's just a loyalist.
It's just so wild.
Little red coat over there.
Any other predictions or like thoughts? Maybe for
God.
like the team or like what's been happening just in season 3.
I
Everybody take
definitely,
notes, by the
I
way.
definitely have a feeling that Matt's behavior is coming to a
Aspire.
yes, yeah, one would say. Like it's like
It's funny.
it's like it's gonna something real bad's gonna happen. That's
And
gonna,
what do you think? What do you think is influencing that? Do you think that there's a direction? Do you think that there's a, like what behavior are you referring to, and where? Yeah, where do you think
Well,
that could
Kind of
go?
feels like a
and
therapy session.
why?
I'm liking
Why
this.
do you think that behavior is happening?
oh well, we all know why the behavior is happening. Sam.
Do it.
It's happening because he's on the serum.
On the
Duh.
serum. My
Yeah.
man's tripping on the serum.
No, I genuinely do think. I mean, this has been my theory for a while, but
Sure.
like Matt is just becoming unhinged because he was
Abducted.
exposed to the serum bomb, and the Absolate is doing its best to stabilize Matt. But I still think that there are points where he is becoming unhinged, like in between like the Absolute that's trying to stabilize him. But I think that there is going to be a tipping point in the near future where Matt does something that is unforgivable or just completely ditches us entirely. I don't know. I like, my theory is that like the three of us are going to have to bring Matt back to
We
reality.
just hired Lauren.
Yeah.
But we just
She's going to hate her life if that happens. Imagine.
Yeah.
Wait, why?
why?
Huh?
I'm not really following the Lauren part of it.
She just gets hired by this guy and now he abandons everybody?
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
well, Sam's her
So-
boss, so Sam.
I mean,
that's really
technically,
annoying.
yeah.
She's like, no, I'll deal with it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So just to keep this conversation going, if there was a world in which you, like Matt did something, to use your words, like unforgivable, like what do you think, how do you think your character would respond? Like what would that look like? Do you ever see yourself like,
I feel like my character tends to like go along with the
Flow.
with like the rest of the team.
group
Yeah, so I
consensus.
feel like what would happen is the three of us would be like, we got to figure out this Mac guy, and
Gotta
we would
start a
band
YouTube channel.
we would band together in order to.
do you ever see a
Stop it.
world, and this is just a hypothetical, in which like let's say you think it's going to rely on group consensus, but then Woods and I have different character directions? Well, like, do you think that you would
Ooh, a
do you think
breakup
that you
again.
would follow your own, or do you think you would kind of like just kind of hear out everyone's perspectives and
You know,
think-
like, being completely honest right now, I know that we just discussed me going off the rails and doing something that doesn't follow the
Start
story.
ripping people's necklaces off.
yeah.
She's like
Everyone's
Winston and New Girl.
necklaces.
Like she can't go just like a neutral amount. She either like I just follow everybody or I
That's
go
100.
pure chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely do feel like there is a certain degree where I can think for myself. Like, I don't think that I am really ever allowed to be independent in this, which
Try
is
it.
weird. I don't know. I just
I don't know why I want to
just
see what
really-
would happen so badly. I'm just like, I
I'm
don't
just
know.
like trying to open the can of worms. Try.
I mean, I
like-
kind of want to see that happen just out of the blue. Just,
I'm
Yeah.
like,
And if it
ripping
doesn't
the
work,
necklace off.
literally, like you said, if for some reason it just doesn't work, then we'll just be like, let's reset.
Yeah,
Like, let's
well, I mean,
I
I
wanna see
think
where
that's
you
the
take
thing.
it,
It's
yeah.
like, I don't want to waste time, but like, I also, yeah, I think I've just been playing it safe this entire time because based on what I think is going to happen in the story, that's the direction that I tend to go.
Fascinating.
Whereas I don't try and change the direction of
Yeah.
things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's probably
It's like the general, way we've been filming too.
exactly, yeah.
But,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if there is an opportunity where I feel like you guys are also not on my team anymore, then I'll figure something out on my own.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we've always been pushing at anyways too, which is like anytime you're like, hey, like, was this reaction like right? Was this good? And that's why I think all of us always just said, like, I don't know, just do whatever you think is natural, because
Yeah.
like that is like what brings out, even though like we get some funny moments where it's like she's like, it's not cold in this room, you know what
Oh
I'm saying?
yeah.
But like I think that's
so
where like
cold in here, really?
yeah, I think that's where the magic will lay, is just when you're just like, yo,
Yeah.
you know, do something that's really
What
off
a
the cuff.
noise.
I don't know how much.
Yeah, the,
I did it twice too.
the sound of a necklace ripping.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've ripped a few necklaces, but yeah, I think that would be the pure like what the heck kind of like moment where everyone just starts improving. I think it'd be
Yeah.
super fun.
All right. Well, don't tell Matt, but maybe I'll.
You don't even have
take
to
his
necessarily rip the
necklace.
necklace.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
don't have to.
But
Maybe
I
don't
just
do
think
that. But like,
Call him an idiot.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
call
Yeah,
him.
be like,
Just
you know what?
no,
Name
yeah,
call him.
you should just go off on
Just
him. Like
walk
beginning
off.
of the next episode, you should just be like, Matt, that was so uncomfortable. Like all of a sudden, you're just like screaming
Just
at him.
hyper
I don't know.
emotional. He
You're
wouldn't
just
even know what to
crying.
do. He'd
It's
be
just
like,
like,
Just be like,
Yeah,
you
he'd
know
be
what,
very
man? You're
confused.
so dense.
yeah,
Honestly. And then just storm off.
Just
I think you get a
start
kick out of it.
crying. Just start like if you, because I've seen you cry in videos before,
Yeah.
or like get teary. Just start like crying and be like, I can't believe you did that. That was so insane. They're like, blah, blah, blah,
You're
blah,
ruining
and
my
leave.
life.
come up with some story about like my brother's neighbor. Like, and then you're just like, he
Was
did
a
this,
government
and he
experiment
broke
survivor.
down. And you
Yeah.
just start crying. He'd be like,
I come up with the whole backstory.
yeah, I'm so yeah. You just come with like your anime backstory. He's like,
Yeah.
what the frick?
What happened? Like, what is she doing?
Oh, that's
Anyways,
funny.
I'm excited for us to see and for you guys to see it as that happens as well. This is the end of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Behind 863 podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to be doing this essentially every single week. And yeah, this is one of my favorite parts of the week, just sitting down and chatting with these folks over here,
That's
making a little
kind.
flick for you, as Woods would say.
Folk flick.
Folk flick. I like that one. Yeah, so thank you guys again. Thanks for all your guys' support. We really appreciated it. Still do. I don't know why I've past tense to that word.
Yeah,
we
we'll
still
still
appreciate
do.
It was a cutoff date.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.